Hello, and welcome to the Public Information Center, also known as a PIC, for the Cooksville Creek Erosion Control Project, which includes the area from Mississauga Valley Boulevard to the Canadian Pacific Rail Crossing. This meeting is being hosted as a pre-recorded video to ensure it is available to review at your own convenience. The presentation is also available for download as a PDF with a script attached to each slide at the link provided in the description. Please take the time to review the entire presentation and provide feedback. The presentation is approximately 10 minutes long. We acknowledge the lands which constitute the present-day City of Mississauga as being part of the treaty and traditional territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Huron-Wendat and Wyandot nations. We recognize these peoples and their ancestors as peoples who inhabited these lands since time immemorial. The City of Mississauga is home to many global Indigenous peoples. As a municipality, the City of Mississauga is actively working toward reconciliation by confronting our past and our present, providing space for Indigenous peoples within their territory, to recognize and uphold their treaty rights, and to support Indigenous peoples. We formally recognize the Anishinaabe origins of our name and continue to make Mississauga a safe space for all Indigenous peoples. The purpose of this virtual PIC is to share information about the Cooksville Creek Erosion Control Study and to obtain your comments for consideration by the City of Mississauga. This presentation will introduce the study and its objectives, summarize the existing conditions within the study area, including the natural and built environmental conditions, identify the alternative solutions being considered, and outline the planned next steps in the study. Through its ongoing erosion monitoring program, the City of Mississauga identified this reach of Cooksville Creek from approximately 100 meters upstream of Mississauga Valley Boulevard to the Canadian Pacific Rail Crossing as a high-priority site in need of rehabilitation. Key concerns include bank erosion within the creek, failure of erosion control measures, and threat to private property and municipal infrastructure. The study will examine the creek and associated natural resources to identify existing erosion problems, potential future risks, and opportunities for restoration and environmental enhancement. Through the class environmental assessment process, multiple alternative solutions were developed and evaluated by the study team and will be refined through public and agency consultation. The study team will then select a preferred alternative and proceed with design of the recommended works. The study is being completed under Schedule B of the Municipal Class Environmental Assessment process. This portion of the study specifically addresses phases 1 and 2 of the environmental assessment process. This drawing shows the overall location and profile of the existing channel and also shows the location of some representative photographs of the channel conditions. Rehabilitation objectives for the study area include providing long-term erosion protection that is compatible with the natural tendencies of the creek, maintaining or improving the hydraulic capacity of the creek, replacing the existing hardened creek bed and banks with more natural forms of erosion and grade control where feasible, providing environmental enhancements wherever possible, improving fish habitat and fish passage potential where feasible, minimizing environmental impacts during and post-construction, decreasing property and infrastructure loss, and minimizing capital and maintenance costs. Within the study area, Cooksville Creek is relatively straight and has a low slope. An operational walking trail is located along the east bank of the creek, linking Stonebrook Park to Richard Jones Park. Notable in the channel are 2 exposed concrete-encased sanitary sewer crossings and hard materials, consisting of gabion baskets and armor stone, along the east bank. In some locations, these bank treatments are in a degraded state and have eroded or failed. The west bank and floodplain is naturalized between Mississauga Valley Boulevard and the Canadian Pacific Railway crossing. Upstream of Mississauga Valley Boulevard, the banks are lined with gabion. The channel bed includes deposits of gravel and areas of exposed clayey till material that is underlain by bedrock. The cross-section of the creek is generally sufficient to convey flows up to the bankful flow event. The exception occurs in the middle of the study area, where these events spill onto the adjacent floodplain. Field investigations were completed during spring and summer of 2022 to review aquatic and wildlife habitat, inventory vegetation species, identify breeding birds in the area, and look for wildlife. No species at risk or flora species were identified during the field investigation. Through breeding bird surveys, the eastern wood pewee was identified. This is a species of concern. The study area is situated entirely on City of Mississauga property and within a municipal sanitary sewer easement. Results of a Stage 1 archaeological assessment suggest that previous minimally disturbed areas may have archaeological potential. This will be assessed in the future if those areas may be impacted by the project. In an environmental assessment study, alternatives are identified that have the potential to address the identified concerns and fulfill project objectives. For this study, 3 alternatives were identified. Alternative 1 is the do-nothing alternative. This alternative is always considered in an environmental assessment for comparative purposes. In this scenario, no action would be taken to address the identified erosion issues, meaning a continuation of ongoing erosion and potential risk to private property and municipal infrastructure. Alternative 2 focuses on undertaking repairs or replacing degraded bank erosion materials, such as corroded gabions, displaced boulders, and undercut armorstone. Measures to protect the exposed sanitary sewer and associated manholes would be incorporated into the study area, and local improvement to the channel would be undertaken so that bankfill flow could be contained within the cross-section along the entire length of the channel. Alternative 3 considers an overall channel modification or realignment that would position the creek further from the east walking trail and incorporate naturalization measures between the new east bank of the creek and the trail. Measures to protect the exposed sanitary sewer and associated manholes would be incorporated into the study area. In the do-nothing alternative, existing channel processes such as widening, incision, deposition, and planform development would continue. Failure of gabions, armorstone, and rock riprap bank treatments would continue to occur through hydraulic displacement, outflanking, corrosion, and undercutting. Portions of the trail would be at risk. The sanitary sewer would remain unprotected, and risk to the manhole that is close to the channel bank would remain. Over time, channel widening would expose the manhole. For Alternative 2, local channel modifications would be undertaken to address failing bank treatments and manage hydraulic flow conditions. Where no risk to property or infrastructure exists, opportunities to naturalize channel banks would be explored instead of replacing bank treatments with hard materials. Opportunities to increase cross-sectional flow capacity would be determined to reduce hydraulic stresses and stream power on channel bed and bank materials. Protection of the exposed sanitary sewer crossings would be undertaken, and where potential risks to infrastructure could occur in the future, for example, a manhole, measures would be implemented to provide future protection. For Alternative 3, channel modifications or realignment of Cooksville Creek would occur. All identified erosion issues or failing bank protection would be addressed by moving the creek away from the east bank. The cross-sectional configuration would be designed to accommodate bankfill flows throughout the study area. Modification of the channel bed profile would be undertaken to conform with naturally occurring patterns of riffles and pools. Naturalization of the area would be undertaken to the extent feasible. Protection of sanitary infrastructure will be incorporated into the design. As part of the environmental assessment process, each alternative will be evaluated using a common set of categories. Within each category, several criteria are used to assess how well the alternative provides a positive benefit toward achieving project objectives. A scoring is applied to each criteria, and the scores are added to determine the highest ranking alternative. This becomes the preferred alternative. The next steps of the project include alternative evaluation and selection of the preferred alternative solution. This will be completed once any comments provided by the public are received. Once the preferred alternative solution is selected, the project report will be written. The report will present findings from all completed studies to establish understanding of existing conditions and environmental inventory results. The project report will be available for public review and comment for a minimum of 30 days. Stay tuned to the City of Mississauga's website and local newspaper for the project's notice of completion for details on when and how to access the project report. Thank you for attending this presentation. Your feedback and input is an important part of the environmental assessment process. Please complete and submit a comment sheet. Comment sheets are available online in digital fillable or print-friendly versions. Please submit your completed form via the email addresses shown on the screen.